if you really want. So welcome along, it's time for the afternoon show with me, Laura Rawlings, Tuesday the 20th of August. How is everything? Is it all right? Everything going well with you this afternoon? I do hope so. Since we last spoke, what's happened? Well, I went along to go and see the Rocky Horror Show at the Bristol Hippodrome, and it was so good. We should be talking a lot more about that in the next sort of half an hour or so, because joining me we've got an actor, a singer. He's played the Son of God. He wowed Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber on ITV's Superstars, and he's currently being chased around on stage in underwear and stilettos. Well, he's taken a brief break from that to be here with us. Actor and singer Ben Forster's going to be live on the show. And we've also got the Lauravision Song Contest coming up as well in half an hour. 3 songs and one thing that links them all together. And your challenge is to try and work out what that one thing is. And if you'd like to get in touch with us on the afternoon show today, you can give us a call, 0845 905 949. Life for mankind in the ITV show Superstar with Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now he is being chased around the stage in underwear and stilettos. He's taken a jump to the left and a step to the right for the role of Brad in the Rocky Horror Show, which is currently on at Bristol Hippodrome. Welcome along, actor and singer Ben Forster, to the show. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's very nice to be
here. You've got so much more in the way of clothing on now that I meet you this afternoon.
Yeah, it was a bit inappropriate, wasn't it, when you came into my room last night? I was like, oh God, let me put some clothes on.
It was arranged. I didn't just, appear as a stalker going backstage. We had arranged to have a little bit of a chat, didn't we? Just want to make that absolutely clear.
Yeah.
So it's just started at Bristol Hippodrome. How was it for you?
Actually, really lovely to be back, because we were here earlier on in the year, so kind of got to know Bristol that week. I've not really spent any time here before. I think I've been here to do a gig for one night or something, but it's just lovely to be back. I really like Bristol. I think it's a lovely, lovely city, and the weather's nice, and it's all good.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy that you're enjoying your stay in the West Country. I saw the performance last night, and one of the things that struck me literally within about 30 seconds of the performance starting was just huge amounts of interaction from the audience. Now, I've seen the Rocky Horror Show before, so I know that's one of the things that happens, but literally the first people on stage, they'd say something, and then someone from the audience or a gang of people from the audience would kind of chirp up with their own little bits of the storyline to kind of add in, annotating it in between. How do you keep going when that's happening?
Do you know what? It's actually the hardest bit of the job, I think. And the funniest bit, I mean, sometimes it can take you by surprise, and you'll really be fighting not to laugh and not to corpse on stage. And a lot of them are really famous lines, so sometimes we give a beat in case the line will happen, and usually it does, and sometimes it doesn't, but every so often you just get someone that just has a genius comment that will literally send you off. But it's hard to kind of concentrate on acting, the accent, where you should be, who you should be looking at, and then listening to the audience to see if anything's going on that you need to leave some space for, or you need to let them have a laugh and all that stuff. So kind of a difficult bit, but the most fabulous bit of the job.
Yeah, because it's just trying to keep it's a sign that everyone loves it, but it is also, it must be so tough trying to keep your concentration, because there are moments when you're not even meant to be moving, not even flinching, and you can hear people shouting stuff out. Welcome your questions this afternoon. If there's something you would like to put to Ben, either about him and his career, or being on Superstar or Rocky Horror, whatever it might be, or about the show in general, then please do get in touch. You can either give Martin a ring, 0845 905 949. You can also text as well this afternoon to 81333 and start the message with the word Laura. Question that's just come in on Twitter, Huckster Ben says, what's your favourite thing an audience member has shouted out during the show?
Oh God, I can't even sit online during the day.
I'm guessing it's probably filth.
It is a little bit rude.
There was a moment when producer Martin, because he was sitting next to me, because you don't always catch what people say, and he said, oh, what did that person just say? And I was just like, I can't say that to you.
There's a few really famous ones that I really love, but they are a bit rude. One that's not so rude is actually there's a line where we're talking about what we should do because our car's broken down, and someone usually always goes, why not try the castle a few miles down the road, before I say the line, which means I've got to then repeat it. doesn't sound that funny, but it is very funny when it actually happens, and it's kind of one of my favourite laughs. It's clean.
Yes.
The rest are just filthy and we can't talk about. But thanks, folks, for Ben, because I know Maria and she's lovely.
Oh, well, she'll be appreciating that mention. Just in terms of the storyline, just if anyone who hasn't seen the Rocky Horror Show or doesn't know what it's about, just sum it up for us, just very briefly.
Basically about two very, very sweet and innocent all-American kids in the 1950s that start out on a journey. They just get engaged and their car conks out in the middle of a forest, and it's raining and very scary thunder and lightning storm. And we come upon a castle that is filled with very interesting and lovely people that take us on a journey that can only really be described as very liberating. And we come kind of out of the end of the story probably as better people, I think, for what we've experienced. As everyone probably would be.
Yes. One of the interesting things about it is it's one of the few times when I've gone to see a performance and I struggled to tell the difference between the cast and the audience, because there are a lot of people who were dressed up. People really go to town with this one, unlike I think anything else I've sat through.
Yeah, I mean, I think because it's got such a cult follower, because it's so famous and people really enjoy the night out, I think it becomes a day for people. I think, they kind of get with their friends, they go and get feather boas, they go and get their costumes sorted, they'll get around everyone's house, they'll all get their costumes on and meet for a glass of wine.
And the women also do it as well, don't they?
Yeah, men and women. I mean, the men can be women and the women can be men, so you never know what anyone is in the audience, really.
Yeah.
But, I think it's because it's such a great experience for everyone. I think that's why it's lived on and why it always happens and why you can always expect people to be, dressed up and doing all the shout-outs and,
Yeah,
it's a brilliant experience.
Did you ever go and see the Rocky Horror Show, and did you get dressed up before you were in it?
No, I was too young, actually. I remember it being on at my local theatre in Sunderland, and I was probably about 12 or 13, and I remember driving to the supermarket or something with my mum and passing the theatre and seeing all these guys in stockings and heels and being like, what is that, what's going on, oh my god, why is that man dressed as a woman, sort of thing.
I can imagine that was quite something in Sunderland.
And my mum going, oh, the Rocky Horror Show's in town. And kind of being like, well, what's that, her describing to me what it was. And obviously I'd seen the movie after that and stuff, but I've never seen it live. So
do you like dressing up?
Of course, everyone likes a bit of dressing up. I think there's a bit of Frankenfurter actually in everyone, and there's also a bit of Brad in everyone.
These are two of the main characters,
Yeah.
very different to each other. One very experimental, and the other one who is
very geeky. But
very
they both have the same things within them, and I think it's just being able to liberate yourself and have a bit of fun, and everyone likes it really.
Because it's in its 40th year, isn't it?
Yeah, which is incredible.
Yeah.
It is amazing that I think it's incredible that something like Rocky Horror was written 40 years ago, actually. Because if you look at our society back then, I think that's why Richard wrote it, actually. When I've talked to Richard about it, where he grew up, in a very, very small town in New Zealand, I think he wanted to be Frankenfurter. He wanted to be this extrovert and dress however he wanted to dress, but felt like he couldn't. And I think he was probably seeing himself as Brad for a while, and should I conform and get a fiance and and dress normally and do the same job as my dad did, and then part of him wanted to be Frankenfurter, and that probably really inspired him to write it. And it's amazing that it existed back then.
It is. I wonder if it'll exist in 40 years, because I was thinking last night some of the content isn't as shocking as it was then. Now it isn't, because we're a lot more sexualised society.
Yeah, we are actually, but then I still think it shocks. I still think that when we come out and I'm wearing stockings and suspenders or in the bed scene, for instance, I still think there's bits that people go, oh my god, that was on stage. And I mean, it's more funny now. I think it was probably a bit shocking a few years ago, and now it's just something hilarious.
Yes, you do spend most of your time in underwear, either in the white vest and pants or a red satin number. Do you ever feel shy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really body conscious, but I think everyone is. It's just something you've got to get over. I always think, I hate my legs, I hate my arms. I mean, I don't really. It's not part of the job that I love. I'm not extrovert getting my body out at all, but it's just something which comes with the role, so I do it.
Yeah, do you like have a spray tan or anything like that?
Hell yes. I Saint-Tropez at Saint-Tropez UK, whatever their Twitter is, all the time, because you know what, I think everyone looks better with a tan, and I'd rather be a little bit of an orange tint than a bit of a grey see-through tint, which I would be if I didn't.
Yeah, this is true. Look, if I was going to be doing the same thing on stage, I think I'd be exactly the same. Because Sarah Louise says on Twitter, I always feel for you when you're dressed up like that on stage, which is very sweet.
Bless Sarah.
We're going to have a song and then we'll come back and talk some more. We'll talk about your time on Superstar and playing Jesus and some of the other things you've done as well after George Michael and Faith.
I love this song.